So they said within the first few minutes, shout out to Al for the story. They said Vanjie brought up the alleged stipend, which is the word used for the money paid as an appearance fee for reality TV stars to show up and compete on a new season. And this is what the All Stars 9 Queens received. Now, Vanjie said, I just want y'all to know they did give us some money or whatever, but basically we didn't get the money until like halfway through or whatever. She's a cackle the way she be talking. And they said Nature asked Vanjie to clarify if the queens were paid an amount of money just to show up, as well as some of money to prepare for their runway looks for the season. Because here's what I was hearing. I heard that you get a stipend, you get like a fee to appear on the show. Then you also get money to go towards the designs and all that other stuff, because them designs ain't cheap. And a lot of the girls was like, they wanted a stipend for this. Well, you get a stipend for the show, but they wanted a clothing stipend, and they also, they didn't want no eliminations, because if they was going to have to be eliminated on this season, they were not going to sign on and do any more of the All-Star shows. And you know what? If all the queens will protest, that's the perfect thing that you could use as your leverage, because they can always be like, with the regular seasons, oh, well, I'm not doing it until you give me this. And first of all, you don't have a leg to stand on in any of that, because you could just be anybody. I was like, okay, well, thank you, next. And then it'll go for the next queen. And there'll always be a new queen that will use that opportunity to get put on. So that won't work. But All Stars is definitely the angle that you could use to make that work, because they need the All Stars to come back. If y'all all stand in solidarity like they did when they were trying to negotiate them, their payout for Friends, then the people over at Paramount have no choice but to comply. So, as I said before, Nature asked Vanjie to clarify if the queens were paid an amount of money just to show up, as well as a sum of money to prepare their runway looks for the season. And Vanjie said, now, I don't remember the number, but the one that y'all are calculating together, the one y'all putting together, is the total of it, I think. That's what he said. Now, Vanjie then reiterated her claim that the All-Stars 9 Queens only received half of the money prior to the season added, because some of the girls won't show up. They'll be like, girl, I got the check. Bye. Now, here's the thing. Now, if the girls was dumb enough to do that, can't you take them to court? Because this is the thing that I've always was wondering, because they always said like, oh, if y'all sign an NDA and y'all can't be spilling too much behind the scenes tea on Drag Race, the girls be spilling a lot of tea on these shows. When they go on Roscoe's Tavern, they go on, oh my God. So I said Caramel, and I forgot that, I forgot about Miss Batty. How could I forget about her? So, what was I saying? Oh, so, so the situation with all that is that, if they were to do all this, can they get sued? Because my thing is, if you go on a show and y'all be like, we signed an NDA, so we really can't say much, but then y'all be going on these shows and y'all be spilling tea, how come they don't be filing lawsuits against them? Me personally, I feel like the girls should be allowed to talk about their experience and give the fans a behind the scenes look in, behind the curtain of Drag Race. Those type of interviews, topics, things, that's what I'm always interested in. I'm like, what was your experience like being behind the scenes of the show? What didn't they show us in the 90-minute episode that we're watching of Drag Race? I'm always curious about that type of stuff. So whenever the girls come on these type of shows, be it, the Roscoe show, be it Maddie Morphin Sisters show, Give It To Me Straight, or any of the podcasts, any of the Drag Race podcasts that they be doing, Heidi and Closet has a show when they go on, who else? I don't think that Race Chasers really has guess. I always think it's just Alaska and Willem that does theirs. But or if you do Very Delta, you do any of those shows, like when you go on those type of shows, I'm always curious to hear the behind the scenes stuff with that. So I don't like that they try to keep them tight-lipped, but they said that, well, the Nation went and spilled this tea. She said, I'm not going to say who, but somebody got cast. They gave her the stipend. They called her and they were like, how's everything going? We haven't heard from you in a while. And they were like, well, they stole the stipend. I don't have it anymore. And they stole the stipend. So Conscious seemed completely taken aback upon hearing the story. They said, stole a stipend? He's like, yeah, allegedly. And then allegedly, I got cast after that. Vanjie reacted, I didn't even know it was yours. And then they showed, competed on All Stars 8. last year alleged that, yeah, it was my season. Now, the clip and stuff has been going on. It's funny. I should just play the damn clip instead of reading the whole damn thing. Speaking of which, you know what? Just to entertain the situation, let's play the clip. Because I'm like, I sat and read the whole thing. I'm like, child, they're going to save me some oxygen. Please hold.
So they gave you what they gave you what
I don't remember the
stipend? No, don't give me the number. But because there was the stipend and then there was your pay to do the season. So I would assume that you would
the one that y'all calculating together, like the one y'all putting together is the total of all of it, I think.
Yeah, that's what we were doing. We were putting all of it.
I don't.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it was like half, or like
half
a little
half.
right. They
would make sense.
Girls, some of the girls won't show up. They'd be like, "Girl, I got to check." Bye.
Well, it happened. It happened.
Heard about those.
You know about that one. I'm not going to say who, but somebody got cast. They gave her the stipend. They called her and we're like, "How's everything going? We haven't heard from you in a while." And they're like, "Well, they stole the stipend. I don't have it anymore.
They
it's
said
gone.
This caller cannot be completed as
And then
they stole the stipend.
They stole the money,
it was
girl. I heard allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. And then allegedly, I got cast after that. Hey!
So there you have it. But my thing is, if they out here stealing, look, if y'all out here stealing money that ain't yours on the network, can't the network sue? Shouldn't World of Wonder be suing? So I don't know. While that does sound like a juicy story, I don't think it's ridiculous. See, I didn't watch the episode. That's why I didn't really have the context. I was going based off the article and stuff. So that's why I was like, but wait a minute. There's 3 people on that show. So Batty apparently wasn't there. So it's just Naysha and Caramel that were co-hosting, which is cute. So, but I'm definitely gonna have to watch this episode because I don't have any time because I told you I've been real busy this week, so I haven't really had time to catch up on a lot of the shows that I watch. Sidebar: there's something that I'm starting not to like with Roscoe's. Those heavy choppy edits that y'all be doing. I used to love when y'all would do those like the full raw episode where it's just like, okay, so we're getting the Q&A, we're getting the full-fledged interview, raw and uncut. Now they're just like heavily editing it. They're cutting out the audience questions. They're really trying to get they're really trying to get people to subscribe over there to get the full episode. And if y'all do subscribe, if y'all come up with anybody in the comments, if y'all actually subscribe to the show, like to their channel or whatever the case is, and y'all pay that $2 a month, let me know if it's a different version of it or y'all pretty much getting the same thing. Because I'll be like, child, y'all need to go back to otherwise y'all going to start losing viewership. They're going to start losing all kinds of stuff, and then people going to go somewhere else with this stuff. So, yeah, while I like the show and I like everything that y'all putting up in there, I don't like the way y'all kind of putting the show out here now, the way y'all editing it. But, like I said, this sounds pretty juicy. This sounds entertaining. I wanted to see if the people was out here commenting. Oh, some people was trying to find out. They said, was it Lanesha Sparks? And then Naysha, because I don't think that's in the rest of the clip, she said, oh, yeah, I never talked about who it was, and I never will because it's not my story. It's not for me to tell. I can only tell from my experience what happens, but I won't ever say who the person was. But girl, you went and brought it up, so why not just mention the whole thing? You say something but don't want to full. I hate when people spill half tea and not the full. Now, I will say that Out has contacted Paramount Plus and World of Wonder, and they haven't said anything and gotten back to them on this. Now, one person named Masquerade asked, they said, okay, but I have a little trouble believing that, certainly that queen would get sued. Like, there's no way that you could just steal that stipend and ignore your contract like that. And then another person, Drag Race Her, posted, no, for sure. That's what I was thinking too. But to be honest, I hadn't even known the queens before All Stars 9 even got a stipend. Well, I think that's because that's TV in general. Everybody gets a stipend. Like regular season girls get stipends. So, I'm sure there's more to the story. Excuse me. Because I was trying to see if there was anything else in the article that was worth reporting. But it says, secondly, one can argue that Naysha didn't clearly specify if this happened on season 8 or Drag Race or season 8 of All Stars, which are the 2 seasons Naysha competed in. This story does come across as something that happened recently, and also that it would have happened with a returning queen who was cast on All Stars. Moreover, when Naysha shut down the question about whether this story pertained to the Naysha Sparks, who originally competed in season 5, it felt like even more confirmation that this was indeed a cast member who was meant to compete in All Stars 8. Thirdly, generally speaking, Vanjie and Naysha did not give any specific details or clues, I should say, regarding who this queen could have been. But if we are to assume that this happened to someone cast on All Stars 8, adding in the fact that Vanjie didn't know that it took place as recently as last year, it's plausible to speculate that this queen who could have been cast in various other seasons. But yeah, so it also says that, you can watch the full live stream of this viewing party for the 5th episode of All Stars 9 if you subscribe to Roscoe's Tavern VIP membership on YouTube for $1.99 per month, as indicated in the video below. Otherwise, this live stream will be available for free on Monday, June 10th. So we already know that. It's like on Monday, they post the full episode, but if you want to get it early, you got to pay the $1.99 a month, which is a good deal. But the reality is like, is it this choppy version that you're giving? Because if that's the case, child, I'll just wait till Monday. But anyway, so I say all this to say, do y'all believe this story? Do you believe the story that Naysha Lopez is putting out there in regards of a Drag Race queen stealing some stipend coin and just running for the hills with it? Because I have a hard time believing it. Because I'm like, first of all, how you stealing money that's not yours from a company that sent you the money to do the show? And in the contract, it should say, okay, if you've been cast and you signed the paperwork and all this other stuff, and we giving you the money to put towards your wardrobe, that you could be sued if you try to pull a fast one. So let me know what you guys think of this story down below.